very confident person. And sometimes, like, when you get advice, like when I give you advice, you're like, do you really think that's it? Really? You think that? And then you go and do stuff, and then it ends up in a big mess. And what happened is Natasha sold her car to an Armenian mechanic without getting any papers signed. I guess she just, I don't know what you thought, like it was settler days or something. Here's a pound of salt, my friend.
And now he won't pick up the phone and I'm getting parking tickets.
I'll take your wagon. Here's the salt.
Alcohol.
That's called the American drug cycle. It goes coffee, antidepressants, more coffee, some soda.
Ugh.
Then booze in the evening and TV, which is a drug. And then you're off to bed. You have shitty dreams. You wake up, repeat the cycle. And then after 15 years of that cycle, you wonder why you have bloody stool.
Gross.
That's it.
I have a friend who walks around with a big gulp.
That is unacceptable. Big gulps are just a way that's how you target a moron. Big gulps are like just the way corporations, they were like, is there a way that we can mark the most brainwashed of the people that we're trying to take money from? And they're like, yeah, big gulp. If you see somebody with a big gulp, you could probably sell them cinnamon flavored cyanide and they eat it.
So that's how you see who the idiots are.
That's it. That's the number one way. It's also if you're like a up and coming oncologist and you're trying to get some new patients to treat with chemotherapy, just find a person with a big gulp. Guaranteed they have cancer.
Oh,
Well, imagine this. This is something that happens all the time. Fucking parents get in a hurry and they get in this pattern. Wake up, get little Samantha some apple juice and some figs or whatever you feed a kid, diced ham, I guess peas and ham. Get some diced ham and peas down that kid's throat, get him dressed, drive him to daycare. So you're in a hurry. You've been doing this for a week. You've got a big meeting, or all year. You've got a big meeting, right? Big meeting. It's important. You might get fired. If you get fired, you're not going to be able to take care of the kid, and that's all you think about. So you get to work. The meeting goes really well. Look out on the summer day and think, God, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And then you're like, oh my God. And you run down to the Range Rover. You forgot to drop the kid off at the
Duncan,
fucking
that does
nursery
not happen
school.
a lot.
Now you've got a mummy in the back seat of your car.
Duncan, that's happened like twice.
Look at
you read Reddit too much.
Toucan Hammond. You've got this. Samantha is transformed into a wrinkled, dead, bloated thing with her tongue bulging
Duncan, that
out.
does not happen.
Now the cops are there. They're like, what is wrong with you, lady? Drug test her. It's all over the news. You're in jail. Your precious thing that you love more than anything is now dead because you were trying to take care of it and you were in too much of a hurry. And for the rest of your life, you're haunted by this awful baked potato that was once your love. Imagine if you left Mayor Cutie in the back of the car and forgot.
I would never do that. And she's a dog.
About pee streams for a second.
Yes.
Do you, when you're in a public restroom, are you conscious of your pee stream? Like, I feel like I always don't want people to judge me off of it. So I always try to pee on the side of the toilet bowl if someone's
Shut
in there.
up.
No, I'm serious.
How do you do that? How do you do
just
that?
lean, you scoot forward a little bit so it hits the side and then it doesn't tinkle. But then I'm like, my fear with that is that someone will think I'm shitting. So I have I was just thinking I have so much stress around this in public restrooms.
Well,
you know what Freud says about that?
Uh-oh.
Do you know what Freud says about that?
What?
He says it's better if people hear your pee stream.
Why?
No one knows. It was one of the last things he said. He said it on his deathbed.
It's better.
The kid will be somebody who's totally into believing lies and being taken care of by the government. It's a perfect situation to create a little sheep Because it's like, you get this kid, the first authority figures in their life start lying right away. Where did I come from? You came from a stork, dropped you in a cabbage patch, and we came out and saw you. Oh, okay. And then
Do you want some more raspberries?
let's give you some more raspberry. Is Santa coming? Hey, how do I get Santa to come? Well, you write on a list the things you want and burn it in the fireplace. And
Well,
then,
they do that to all kids.
well, I know, and it's a lie. Okay, if Santa comes,
You had to burn your list in the fireplace?
Well, it's cool. My uncle was cool. Where did the eggs come from? Where did these eggs in the yard come from? There's a bunny that lays the eggs in your yard. And when we tell a kid a lie like that, we think it's it's hilarious, I guess. But for a kid who believes in Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, you develop a mythological relationship with these characters. It becomes like important to like try to catch Santa Claus. I entertained this idea when I was a kid that if I looked out the window at the right time, I would see the Easter Bunny. This kind of like, I don't know what the fuck it's doing, but this weird creature that for whatever reason likes to put multicolored eggs in suburban lawns. What is that creature? I mean, if you really analyze the psychological mechanism involved in that creature, where once a year it's like, I gotta lay my colored eggs. That's a fucked up beast. But I believed in it.
I remember sneaking into my mom's room and then like opening up the mirrored cabinets and then seeing like all the Christmas presents. And my head was like so confused.
Dum, 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 dum. It was a lie. If you teach your kids, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are about raising kids or what's being advised in the baby books because I don't read them.
We should definitely write a parenting book.
But it feels like when you're raising your kid,
Before we have kids.
you want to teach them some truth. You want to teach them the truth so they trust you in a real way. Instead of, because then as a kid, if you get programmed to think, well, sometimes mommy and daddy lie, then what that means is you start thinking it's okay for mommy and daddy to lie because I don't need to know everything. If I know everything, it's bad. That's what you're telling your kid. If you know the way the world really works, it's bad. Also telling your kid, the world is bad. I'm shielding you from the bad world. And so then the kid becomes an adult, and now the government is concealing information, lying about information, not telling the truth. And the adult's like, well, they're protecting me from the world because the world is bad. And it's replicated, and the people in the government are thinking to themselves, well, I've got to protect them from the world because the world is bad because their parents did that to them. So you have this wave of lying ethics being passed down from the first cowardly parent that made up some bizarre fucking story about a guy with a beard that's really based on the Amanita muscaria mushroom, or a rabbit with eggs that's really based on the goddess Hecate. And the moon.
Would you want to tell your beloved dog that she's going to die one day?
Yes.
Why?
To appreciate life. To understand. But the reason death seems so terrifying to us is because we don't talk about it. Because no one explains it. Because for the first 6 years of your life, I guess you just think you're wandering around some Eden unless something happens to your parents.
I don't think that most people experience the first 6 years like that.
Not at all. They experience, no matter what, you can't keep out the truth. You're just like...
I think a lot of people experience horror in their first 6 years.
You know what I'm saying?
Or flashes of.
Some people get the real juice. Some people get the real truth. And the way they get the real truth is in the form of a monstrous childhood, which produces what we're talking about as artists. Or, because when you say good parents, that doesn't necessarily mean good parents. You mean protective parents. Parents who are like convincing you of a type of world that is only possible under the roof of your parents.